The thieves in this country who are running away from the Madlanga Commission via excuses of being sick are going down one by one. Suliman Carrim, IDAC head Andrea Johnson, General Khan all lied to the Commission that they are sick and ran to hide elsewhere. When Suliman Carrim lawyers came to the Commission to tell lies on his behalf after receiving huge amount of money, Advocate Chaskalson shocked them after he played a clip where the so-called Suliman Carrim, who was allegedly sick and in the hospital was seen shopping. Obviously, this is the fear of Mzansi and Madlanga that has resulted to this. If you are truly a supporter of Lieutenant Mzansi and you're happy with what the commissioners are doing, hit the like button, comment Viva Mzansi, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Jabulani, roll out the video where his lawyers tried to lie, but Advocate Chaskalson crushed them in less than 10 minutes.
And having to rely on the medical practitioner and the family. And so there might be practically some delays in obtaining the level of specific instructions that we have to now obtain. But as I say, I'm in your hands on that. You will direct as you need to direct. The second point, and I think my learned friend and I have reached an in-principle agreement on this, but if I'm wrong, no doubt he'll correct me in reply, is that Friday, insofar as, I'm just using Friday as the placeholder date, Friday, insofar as we end up needing to discuss medical conditions, hospitalization dates, even identity of the medical practitioner and the speciality that they may or may not specialize in, obviously impinges potentially on my client's medical privacy rights and also around causing unnecessary public, in an open sense, a public speculation about his state of being or not being. And I've already flagged with my learned friend that we might need to be, because for the exact reason that I can't read to you what the contents of the medical report actually says, I have to use all these sideways descriptions of directing your attention to content. It might be appropriate for us to have that debate, at least, in camera, without the journalists and the outside world reading in, to the extent that we need to go into that medical history and the details. So never mind the timetable issue, Chair. I think in addition to, if you direct that we have to bring the formal postponement application in the way that it's posited, I'm giving advance notice to you as the Chair and the Commissioners, and I've flagged it and I've discussed it with my learned friend, and he was very understanding, I'm grateful, that we might need to then have that as an in-camera session so that my client's medical privacy rights are protected and his dignity is not unduly impaired as a result of what information we, as the Commissioners, the evidence leaders and his legal representatives, need to have a frank debate about in a way that still manages to protect him. So, Chair, those are, may I just check with Ms. Madlanga, who usually holds the purse strings?
Yes.
Ms. Madlanga says I've done my job, so it's fine. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Chaskalson, any reply?
Brief reply, Commissioners. Chair and Commissioners, you'll recall that 3 weeks ago Mr. Carrim was postponed to today's date. He's not here today, and we received a doctor's note yesterday that refers to his admission to hospital on the 17th of June, which is more than a month ago. When we received that doctor's note yesterday, it seemed to explain Mr. Carrim's apparent inability to appear today, but it didn't explain his inability to answer, at least in part, the Regulation 10.6 notices that had been served on him and that I addressed in the Commission 3 weeks ago. You'll recall, Commissioners, that we're still waiting for Mr. Carrim to tell us, for example, who the auditors of his companies are. There's nothing in his doctor's note that suggests that his health conditions are of such an order that he's been unable to do that for 2 months. Similarly, we're still waiting for Mr. Carrim to furnish audited or even unaudited financial statements for 3 of his companies, Ziggy, Tasmika, and Tamiz. There's nothing in the doctor's note that suggests he'd have been unable to issue a simple instruction to the officers of his companies to do this. And I want to emphasize here, we're talking about a group of companies, including Ziggy, Tasmika, and Tamiz, that have been paid hundreds of millions of rands from the Northwest Provincial Government and Northwest municipalities in the region of which he's the ANC Treasurer. Companies in this group continue to perform services for those organs of state and continue to be paid millions of rands by those organs of state. We're talking about multi-million rand businesses, not, family-run sort of small businesses that have to shut down if their owner is unwell. So if Mr. Carrim took the trouble to ask someone, he ought to have been able to arrange that we receive the financials we've been asking for months now. That's where things stood yesterday. Mr. Carrim seemed to have an excuse for not appearing, but he did not seem to have any excuse for failing to answer any of the questions in the Regulation 10.6 notice we sent him 2 months ago, and for not providing any of the documents we sought in that notice, almost all of which he had undertaken to provide when he testified when he was healthy back in, I think it was April. That was yesterday. And then after we received the doctor's note under cover of a letter from his attorneys yesterday, late in the afternoon yesterday, we received 2 different whistleblower reports, both confirming that Mr. Carrim and an entourage had been seen yesterday going out for lunch at a shopping centre in the Western Cape. The 2 reports corroborated the same details. They seem to be independent of one another. And they've now been confirmed by eyewitnesses at that shopping centre, who we have independently contacted. So we now have it from multiple different sources that someone who seemed very much to be Mr. Carrim arrived at the shopping centre with an entourage, went into Woolworths before going off to have a late lunch at a restaurant in the shopping centre. We've subpoenaed CCTV footage from the shopping centre, and we expect to have it received, and we expect to have it thoroughly analysed by midday tomorrow. For now, we have a concern that Mr. Carrim may be taking liberties with this commission. And that concern is amplified by other whistleblower reports that we've received indicating that Mr. Carrim has been seen at social gatherings in the Northwest over his period of ostensible incapacity. So we are going to issue a subpoena later today to the hospitals at which he's been receiving treatment to establish when he was admitted and when he was discharged, since he testified at the commission. We're also going to be issuing a subpoena to his doctor, who's based in Cape Town, to establish the dates on which he has seen Mr. Carrim. And we don't expect that it will take us more than a day to obtain this information. And what we would like is for the matter of Mr. Carrim's appearance or non-appearance to be stood down until Friday morning, or maybe Friday lunchtime, when it can be considered on the basis of a formal postponement application, which we would ask this commission to order him to bring by 10 o'clock tomorrow. The evidence leaders will reply to that postponement application by 6 p.m. tomorrow, and it could be heard by Friday morning at 9:30. If Mr. Carrim's legal team needs more time, if we can have that postponement application by 5 p.m. tomorrow, we would undertake to respond to it by 10 on Friday, and it could be heard on Friday afternoon, not Friday morning. But what we do expect the postponement application to address is at least the following issues. The dates on which Mr. Carrim has been admitted to hospital over the last 4 months, the dates on which he's attended medical consultations over the last 4 months, his travel movements over that period, whether he's attended social engagements over that period, and whether he's played any role in the management of his businesses over that period, and if not, who's been responsible for these businesses which continue to turn over in his absence.
Ms. Chaskalson, can you please add one more thing? I'm interested to know how he traveled from the Northwest to the Western Cape. Did he book flights? Did he fly there? Because if he can give instructions to